it's fun to just make stuff and like be like, I don't know, I like put something together and I don't know what it's gonna be yet, you know?
I just try to have like a lot of materials and then in the moment, all right, what's gonna work? What can I put in here?
Next thing I know, a design came out of it, and it was just using imagination more or less, you know, but let your imagination run.
You know, I really like doing things and I love like the idea of human technology and what that means. The idea of being able to leave something that you've created in the wild and like see people like interact with it, which is kind of what's happening right now with the Giffatron, which is super exciting. It's a microcontroller. There's just a little Python program that like listens for a button press, and then so 6 pictures are taken, turned into a GIF, and then posted to a Twitter account. So I try to like leave everything open source, but also to get people to start thinking about what they could make.
After I see the pieces, I go, oh, okay, this is how this is going to go together. It doesn't always start with a finished idea fully formed in my mind. I let the pieces tell me what they need to do. And I like to think of them as kinetic sculptures. It's always the interesting process to dream about, you know, what's going to happen next.
I found this clock, opened it, took it apart, and then I thought, well, it kind of creates like a little space that flowers could live in, and there's just sort of a balance that I just become aware of at a certain point. With my pieces, I'm also trying to create sort of this atmosphere of quiet and serenity, and hopefully that attains that.
Every time I'd go for a ride, then I started paying attention to cans on the side of the road and collecting them, and found the majority of them were Budweiser cans. So I had this idea of doing something with the cans, so I collected over 200 cans, decided to try to go also in kind of an artistic vein and try something a little bit different. And so the laser cutter was kind of a draw in that. You know, how do I use technology to create something different?
I have one piece that's 9 hats that I made. I made from my clothing and my husband's clothing. We made them here in a class that I teach in the MAKERSPACE monthly meeting. It's called Sewing Rebellion. But it helps people start to think about how they consume in their daily life. And you know, we think about consumption when it comes to food and our cars and our house, but fashion, we don't necessarily think about consumption, you know? I Can't Even, that piece was from a show I did last January with another artist. Her name is Molly Shea. It was called I Can't Even, so the banner is the title of the show. And we did like a 4-hour-long performance. I started making the banner here in the MAKERSPACE in Boulder, and then I brought it with me to California. It's a great part of being a fiber artist is that a lot of your sculptures, you can just fold them up in your suitcase and then iron them when you get to the place.
So far, we started the TREEOPP program about 6 weeks ago. We're taking advantage of the wood that came from the damage the emerald ash borer is doing. And instead of throwing it in a landfill somewhere, we decided to put it in a program. The benefits have been endless as far as like being able to come in here and be creative and, you know, to see the excitement in other people when they get to check out the designs for, you know, let's say the necklace or the ornaments or anything I've put together.
I actually started out in the Ready to Work program. I came to them, I was homeless and needing to work, drinking all the time. I sobered up, got with the program, worked my way up to supervisor, and then one day my boss offered me the opportunity to be the coordinator for the TREEOPP program, and I said sure. It's for the most part it's been really fun, and I've learned a lot through the TREEOPP program.
Use your imagination, basically, really what it comes down to. Like when I designed the clock, it was one of those things, like I had a little job to do and everyone was in the shop and my job was to sit there in case anyone wanted to stain wood and help them with the stains. Well, no one ever came out to the shop, so I just sat there kind of twiddling my thumbs, and then I just found pieces of scrap, you know, and saw them in the garbage. I was like, wait a minute, and just started piecing something together and being able to find an artistic point of view behind it, and then learning about lasers and knowing mathematics. It just kind of all came together for me. So.